Dear sisters and brothers, welcome to the fifth broadcast of the Time Chronicles. This is a broadcast now covering a couple of days, starting from January 15th to January 17th, 2022, which are days all complementing each other. Mercury is still retrograde, and today, January 17th, we have the first full moon of the new year. So, the January 15th, 2022, according to the law of time, was the day of the Red Resonant Earth. This day was representing a dynamic alignment with the Earth. Remaining centered is important. It is always important, but this is important to keep the Earth remain centered. We may think, of course, that one person may not be enough to make the Earth centered, and why should we bother? It's quite normal that such questions come up, but think of one person who has a brain power that equals 1 billion. Yes, 1 million people who has a regular brain capacity. So it is called an Atlantean being who has a brain capacity that equals the brain capacity of 1 billion human beings with regular brain capacity. The Atlanteans have designed the 7 cubes of simulation where the beings, including the humans, evolve in order to transcend to the +1 cube, and then the dimensions beyond the Atalanta dimension. And yes, a human being is here as an avatar of the Atlantean being who can attain this brain capacity and brain power by working hard. So, keep trying to be centered for alignments. Imagine you keep the Earth centered, and this is how you evolve into a stronger being. January 16th is the day of the white galactic mirror. And on this day, it was important to be a channel for harmonic synchronization between the center of the Earth and the Galactic Center. On January 15th, we stood centered, imagined the Earth to be centered, and then imagined further the next day to be aligned with the Galactic Center. January 16th. So cosmic consciousness is not just somewhere out there to be attained as a level. It is resonating within you. So it's the centers are coming together in alignment. So it's starting from you, within you. Just as the core of the Earth is the center that causes the gravity, your essence, it's a special core within your heart chakra, causes a radiating resonance that connects your being to what you see outside, knowing that outside starts from the inside. January 15th, the red earth is like a shaman. It's an earth keeper who already has seen himself at the white galactic mirror of January 16th. This person is a mirror himself, radiating and reflecting on Earth. He's here to heal, to cure, to fix, to bring a remedy, or to rewrite evolution programs, and maybe to recreate light and matter. So why not? Be at the Earth Center, be at the Galactic Center, and be the rainbow bridge between them. Today, January 17th, is the blue solar system. By the way, the picture at the beginning of this YouTube broadcast is a representing image of this day. It's enhanced with AI, artificial intelligence, and it's a new kind of art. Most of you are already familiar with this. And within this Mayan wisdom, the blue storm represents a storm that brings about a purifying rain that cleans the heart and mind, and thunders of the storm are bringing the light to this cleansed heart and mind. This is for the new creations. This day is bringing an electromagnetic storm for changing things. The frequency is raised. It is an energy storm that can blow your mind, bring surprises, and sudden events may take place. What to do is to stay centered. It is the same center that you started on January 15. Stay calm in the eye of the storm, I'd say, and direct the storm by creating a force of gravity. Pull the storm and hold it. Do not be carried away of the power of the storm. But, of course, you can let the storm take away your fear, worries, and the emotional baggage that you should not carry anymore. You should take it easy, make things simple, stay at the center. That's the motto. And feel aligned with all other centers you can dream of. These are the days when the programs for the Earth and humanity are revised. So heading towards the age of Aquarius, where science and knowledge will lead the way more than ever, we all need to be prepared to open ourselves to the knowledge sets we are not aware of yet. Those beings who already have attained the beta consciousness level will ride faster on this wave of science, of course, and those who are still at the alpha level will have resistances and reluctances accepting the scientific edge. It's a balance between here and there where we must stand in between. It's not totally should be scientific or totally we go for the spirituality. It's a balance somewhere in between. Pure science is not enough without the wisdom, and on the other hand, unknown sets of wisdom are not very useful in reaching out to the majority of the humanity if not backed up by science. Not only a science, we must understand here is a scientific approach, being open to new questions and areas to investigate, being open to other perspectives and listen and investigate, search for other sources of information. Let the blue solar storm of today take away your fear towards the new or towards the unknown. I received many comments about my approach to astrology. As you know, I'm not an astrologer, and let me tell you, I'm aware of the knowledge sets beyond astrology. Maybe that's why I was a little distant to it at the beginning. On the other hand, it is not a coincidence that the majority of humanity is getting interested and involved more into astrology because they want to ease their lives. They want to find love, they want to find money, and they try to learn their birth chart, to learn about themselves. It's a starting point. It's good that they're curious and learning. And it's a marvel that they're tuning their attention to the sky from the earth, away from the earth. I think that whoever knows the further knowledge and wisdom shall embrace astrology as a means to tell their sisters and brothers that this is a good starting point and there is a further path to walk and we can walk together. If you are a person who is below the 10th dimension that we know, that means if you are still within the mechanism of influences, which is at the 10th dimension, you are affected by astrological events. So we are all below the 10th dimension, more or less. Because the solar system and the neighboring systems are beneath the 10th dimension. But if your mind can reach the 11th dimension, which is the auditing mechanism, where it is we have the auditing mechanism and control mechanism, you are immune to the influences of astrology in some sense. But can we keep ourselves above the 10th dimension all the time? The answer is definitely a no. We are all human beings and we carry emotional aspects within us, so it's not possible. So there is no harm keeping an eye on the astrological knowledge. in my opinion. Think about it's like learning about another language, and not for yourself, but to understand and communicate with people who are trying to ascend more and more to the cosmos. So think about astrology this way. This is how I approached it. And every knowledge has an aura. Astrology has been with the humanity since centuries, thousands of centuries. Therefore, it has a strong magnetic field. It's already residing in the collective human consciousness. Therefore, it is familiar for the human beings to capture and move on. I believe a knowledge set is neutral and it is beyond duality. It is the human beings who pull these knowledge sets into a duality, including astrology or any other sacred knowledge. So it is not the knowledge to be blamed for, but the people who interpret them. This is same for any knowledge set you may come up with. It's the humans who misinterpret. It is the humans who twist the meaning and purpose. If there is, for instance, ego and fear pumped into the system, you may realize it's a twisted set of knowledge and it's not pure any longer. It's not useful any longer. It's not producing any strong magnetic field that can turn into useful creation for the humanity and the cosmos. Throughout the history, change was taking place to solve a problem mostly. A thought was generated to make a change, to solve a problem, a conflict. If there would be no conflict, there would be no need for change. A transition, a peaceful transition, let's say, was always less frequent in history. We see mostly revolutions taking place instead of evolution, which always requires a higher consciousness level. Evolution requires a higher consciousness level because you have to move at your own pace and you should analyze and synthesize things on the way, on the process. Evolutionary transition is a voluntary act. You put your will and ability, but a revolutionary change, on the other hand, is due to a necessity, enforcement of rough conditions and conflict. Transition is something that takes place due to a mutation program that we are subject to within this simulation cube. There is mutation in the nature, and if something cannot make its smooth transition, in other words, if evolution cannot take place, then a revolution is invited. If there is no evolution, there is no advancement. And since there is no advancement, humans or corporations or the countries, they cannot proceed in alignment with the plan and with their purpose, and they have to face the revolutions that bring about the advancements. What stops the advancement is ego. And this is both for a person, it's true for a person, and it's true also for a corporation. If a person or a corporation thinks, for instance, that they are perfect, why would they like to be transitioning to become a better one? They hold on tight to the status quo and resist the change that would disturb their own comfort zone. This comfort zone is then tried to be protected further by pressure, irrational rules, or attitudes that, and it creates further pressure and resistance. This is the very moment that points out to the time a need for a change. Imagine a corporation that has to go from point A to point B, and there's enough time for transition, for a smooth change. But if there is a resistance to the change due to ego or fear, a time is lost for advancements. And as always, there is a compensation for the lost time from point A to B, and there's a sudden move from A to B to as a quicker change taking place to compensate for the lost time. And a sudden quick change is more disturbing, as you might foresee, than a smooth and timely change. It's very disturbing sometimes. The corporation builds a defense mechanism mostly towards this sudden change, and conflict arises between those who want to change and those who do not want to change. Mostly they fear a loss of power during any change, or it is difficult for a corporation to recognize this at the beginning. Usually it's noticed very late, sometimes too late, and nobody knows what to do as a remedy. Nobody knows how to ask for help. And that's why the corporations usually collapse and then the other corporations, some new corporations, can take in their place. It's like the old temples falling down and then the new temples are built upon them in history. Of course, everything is a program, and the programs are chosen and downloaded on Earth according to the average level of consciousness of the humans. That's why all the work of today should be free from ego, and all must be in perfect alignment with a higher purpose. Especially, this is important. Spiritual work requires higher consciousness, and there's no place for ego. Therefore, the focal points, the spiritual focal points that are constructed to build strong and clean magnetic fields must be composed of high consciousness beings. The work done in the spiritual focus points, it's they point, these should be focusing on the efficiency. I mean, the point is here efficiency, reliability, validity, and you should not be reflecting any chaotic frequencies. If a program cannot deliver results, positive results, or fulfilling its purpose, it needs to change. And if it cannot change or evolve, it faces a revolution or a crackdown. And if it doesn't help himself to get over it, then an old and outdated program collapses, and there's another new program that replaces the old one. It was how the temples replaced the old ones. New programs are appearing instead of the outdated ones. If you feel a program is not helping you any longer, trust me, it's not helping anyone else either. By the way, let me tell you that the picture at the beginning of this video is created by AI when given the words the blue solar storm, and it carries the frequency of the January 17th, 2022. Please listen to my previous broadcasts on the Time Chronicles YouTube channel if you haven't already, and let aside of the ego and the fear. That's the motto of today, and it's very dangerous. It's going to be more dangerous if you keep carrying the ego and the fear aspects with you in the future. They will hurt you more and more. Trust me. So let them go. Let the storm, the blue solar storm, take it away. And I believe something wonderful is about to happen if we do so. And there is no need to fear the unknown, because this is where all of us will end up someday. So it's good to evolve. We don't need revolutions. We don't need sudden changes. We just need to walk, and walk with a discipline and with determination and with in alignment with our purpose. And that's something wonderful will be brought about into the humanity, into the earth. Take care.